Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jolanda and I'm coming to you from the Netherlands. So, if you're new here, I thank you so very much for checking out this podcast. It is mainly about knitting, but sometimes a little bit of crochet and spinning and sewing and all kinds of crafty stuff I'm up to. So, this is another weekly knit and chat. It is another Monday, and I'm so grateful for all of you who has subscribed to my channel the past weeks and left a kind comment. And I'm very happy to read all your comments. And yeah, it's just amazing. I just can't even imagine what just happened. So, as you probably can see, I have another facial infection. So this weekend I had to visit the emergency doctor and they gave me immediately antibiotics. So this is the second time. November I had it, and now October I had it, and again. So they suggested I should see a specialist about this because if you don't get antibiotics, it is like wildfire. It spreads so fast. Well, um, we're not talking about my face here. We're about knitting, and as you can see, I'm wearing my finished objects. It has buttons now, so I will um, make this episode a little bit different than usual because this doesn't feel so right and doesn't look any better than it feels. So I recorded a few clips yesterday, and one of them was about me sewing on the buttons. So if you're interested, I will put in a clip here for you. So this is the finished step-by-step cardigan by Florence Miller. And yeah, it is time to find some buttons. I ordered some and I hope there will be something that will be suitable among these. These are very big, but they could definitely work color-wise. They are very pretty. I need 4. I've got a whole package. There are a lot in here actually. There are 3 centimeters in diameter. I think I measured it out actually. So I hope I measured it well. They look nice, right? I ordered also these ones. Wooden buttons. I really love the retro look. Look closer up. And in case those are too big, I have something smaller. These are little metal buttons with an eye at the back. See? Oh, and these have a rose on there. Also very pretty. And they could also work very well. They're a bit smaller. Those are 2.3 millimeters, and there are 10 of them. So I have pinned this close, so I unpin it now and see what the button size, if it fits or not. This could definitely work. They are really big, aren't they? But I really dislike it when the buttons open while you wear the cardigan. So I will probably use those big ones because these go through a little too easy. So they are pretty big, so they will be prominent feature on the cardigan, I guess. I'll just look for some thread because this yarn was mohair fluffy that is not really suitable for sewing. So I will just take this neutral thread. That will be fine probably. Only, yeah. So we're all finished. And yeah, happy, happy, happy. What do you think? So yeah, I think this turned out really nice. It is so warm and soft and cozy. I have to look for something to wear it with because I don't know, the green skirt I'm wearing it with is not the right green in my opinion. But I thought I took some pictures. I am trying to take pretty pictures, of course, because it's nice for the knitwear and also for the designers if there are some nice pictures on Ravelry, right? So I finished also a pair of socks, which is not a surprise. And these are the pairs of socks. The sock blockers, nah, those are adjustable, but they fall apart as you use them, so I will not even mention. But they were cheap, and as I said before, if you buy cheap, you cannot expect the best quality. You expect something decent enough, which I don't think these are, but we're about socks. This is an old yarn Drops Delight, and I really love that yarn, but unfortunately it is discontinued. But these were sock tubes. I talked about it the last episode, and they are finished now. So again, I filmed a little bit in my little craft room yesterday. It was a difficult task because my cat Molly, well, you can see it in the little clip. It was more about Molly. She just did not want to leave the box. So these will go into one of the boxes, the one for Michael, and well, next pair will be for Patrick, I guess. So yeah, sock tubes knitted on the sock knitting machine, and now they have cuffed heels and toes. I do the Italian sewn bind off. I talked about it also the last episode. It turns out really nice, and that is a practicing. It's not hard. It's also not easy. You do have to practice, but again, it starts really great, and it doesn't flare like the usual bind off I did was a stretchy bind off, but that will give a flare at the cuffs, which is also not a big problem because if you wear it, you will not see it. But this gives a little bit more of a professional look, I think. So I want to show you a tiny little bit about the plan I had for the socks for a gift as a Christmas present, and always catchy because they're so curious. So last week I bought this box and this box, and there were at the Action store, so they were cheap boxes, but I thought I had a perfect size to store in some socks. I can put them in here. What's wrong, Millie? Hi, Millie. Millie's trying to help me. So there will be a box for both of my sons, one of them each. It's going to be a little bit impossible. Oh my god. Aren't we just always catching cats in boxes? So I have these orange ones with brown heels and toes. So let me see how this will fit in nicely. Probably like this. The cat just really wants in the box. And she's stealing the show, isn't she? Molly, what are you doing, Missy? It's not gonna fit, Missy. I don't know what this is going to be, Molly. What are you doing? So another pair. Beautiful grey. A little bit of pink, but not too much. We'll go into this one. I will move my cat over so you can actually see something. So let me see which pairs are for. These are for Michael and these are for Patrick. Okay, so the red one will also go in here. So there will definitely fit one or two more pairs in here, which is great. So that is one. The other box is taken. Please move, Missy. Move. Move. Lee. So this is a very interesting pattern. When he was a very young boy, he already had a pair of these, and this was still left over. I made a green one with blue heels and toes, which is also for Patrick. And these are fully patterned, so I unraveled for the cuff heels and toes and made it totally in the same yarn because these were very long sock tubes. You cannot imagine it's gonna fit. Thank you, thank you. So I have to knit a few more pairs, but this is really nice. So I just wanted to show that, even though it was kind of impossible with the cats here. But yeah. So I recently hang some of these metal wire frames. And yeah, it's above my desk. It was just very plain and empty wall. And now I just put there all my handspun, not all my handspun, some of my handspun, and some mohair, and then I run out of hooks. But this is very inspirational, and I can sit here behind my sewing machine and dream of all the projects that might become one day. So, next thing I want to talk about is the um, champagne sweater from Sari Nordlund. I don't have any notes today, so I think I'm not going to talk about that much. I hope. So many of you left a comment on how beautiful this sweater is. It is the design. It has nothing to do with me, but the color and the design are just a perfect match. And I think also the yarn. So here it is. I finished the whole body. See, it's just a beautiful, beautiful pattern. And yeah, so I would have started the sleeves, but I got distracted by something. And I was debating if I would talk about it or not. Um, I try to keep it brief. So I applied for a few test knits. I did that a lot in the past, and it was always a nice thing. It was very motivating in keeping your knitting going. I liked the process of the test knitting because you encounter tiny little errors, sometimes just stitch counts that don't match up or just spelling errors, and I really liked that. And then I looked at the pattern, I applied. It wasn't spontaneous action, which I should avoid. And I actually applied for three, but I cancelled one. The other one I never heard anything from. I thought I was in because I was like replying 2 minutes after the email came in, but I never heard anything back. So that's kind of weird. And the other one is the one I'm testing right now. I just left a message and said, I don't really have the time, so just ignore my message. But apparently she did not read it, so I got the message in the email. So that is at a point you can't really say, okay, I don't want it, because you already have the pattern. So I thought, okay, never mind. I didn't hear anything from the other tests, so I can do one test knit. But I really wanted, actually, I have a lot of plans what I want to present to you on the podcast. It takes, of course, a lot of time. I want to do my December sweater. I was looking forward to that. But okay, so I started this test. We had 3 weeks from the moment you have the pattern, but there were already issues because she said we would have 1 week for the yarn, and then apparently we did not. And she used the DK weight yarn, and nobody was able to get gauge with that. So we left questions like, what do you want us to do? Are we supposed to? I mean, the fabric was already stiff. We didn't want to go down on either side, but we did not get any response. So we kind of communicated among each other, which is also a bit weird. And then I was just very annoyed. I just got an answer like, it seems that you're not familiar with my patterns. You just have to trust the process. And I was like, something is seriously wrong. If I trust the process, I will end up with a sweater that will not fit me. I just was waiting for answers to my questions and not, it's probably my problem. And then this all happened. I thought, oh, I was probably so agitated because my body was already sick and I just hadn't noticed it. So as the process continues, many people are complaining about all the things we are not used to. We want a pattern that tells a stitch count. We just don't want numbers in a diagram and then we're supposed to understand how that goes. She's a Korean designer. She has beautiful patterns on Ravelry. But I mean, if you go for the English speaking people, you have to make the patterns so we can actually understand this. That would be nice. I also have multiple issues with the pattern, but it is still in testing. And she rewrote many parts. We have so many updates already. So I will give her a chance. I will not mention who she is. I will not mention the pattern because for now, I don't even want to recommend it to any of you. But it's turning out nice. Maybe I'm just too critical. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. That might be. So I used the Three Birds wool, merino wool. It is from a Chinese website. You might be totally against that. It is just for me, yeah, it is affordable for me. I knit a lot and yeah, I really knit a lot and I just cannot afford expensive yarn. I also find it kind of a challenge to find something that is pretty and affordable and yeah, well, no matter. Usually we have no information on the ball bands. That is the thing. They don't do that. But this time we do. And even though it has only 78 meters in 50 grams, it just knits up more like a sport weight, which is curious and interesting. It's 90% merino wool and 10% polyester. It is very nice. It is very squishy. It is also it is shiny. What I found, I have 10 balls of this. In 2 of them, I used 6. In 2 of them, I found one spot that was a bit fluffy. I just could pull it off and just cut it off. It was just a little bit of an irregular. It was a little bit of irregular piece of yarn. Words are always a bit thin. So I decided to show you with the pattern because I've been spending a lot of time on this and otherwise it would look like I did nothing in the whole week, and I'm here to show you something, so I want to show you this. And it is, like I said, I took some pictures, I steam blocked it, the yarn held up to that very, very well. It turns out really, really even, and it's really look at the drape. It is really a pretty yarn. I would definitely buy it again. So I think it was around 12 euros, but those websites, they have constant promotions because they want more customers, right? That is that's also a complaint. They are kind of tricky to restrain yourself, especially the knitters, of course. But hey, so I already finished the sleeve. I got permission to lengthen it unless it should look like the pattern. So I cannot decide I want my sweater hip length because she made it high hip length. I can totally understand that. That's a design element. So I have to do a little bit of figuring out how this is going to work. So yes, I want to say many things about the pattern that I found very interesting and very curious, but I will not. I will wait until she makes all the modification, and then I can have my own decision of this something I want to recommend, or you should just skip and find something else. It is interesting. It looks nice. The sleeves need the cuffs only 7.5 centimeters, and the body is high hip length. So that's a little bit more knitting. But yes, I tried it on. Of course, as always, I will put in pictures here for you. It has bubbles, and we have some very bright light at the moment. The sun, which is so nice. They were expecting snow actually. That's, yeah, it all can happen. There's some very weird lights over there, but hey. So something else I did, because I'm just looking there, if you can see the curtains over there, I bought 2 sets. These windows are really, really wide. So the curtains were 1.6 meters each. My window is 3.2, now a little over 3 meters. So I sewed on. I have 7 scallops now. Every curtain had 3 scallops. So I had 6 scallops, and I thought one extra would look better because it's an uneven number, right? So I did sew 1 scallop from I did all the whatever I tried out. It worked, and I'm very happy with it. I like it, so I ordered a few more, and I will put it on that window also. It's just for decoration but there's just a very high window. I did not like the view. I was looking at something on the roof. It looks very dirty, and yeah, I think it looks really nice. It's a bit of a French look, I think. The curtains are just from the previous occupants of this house. I hope in the future, near future, I hope to buy some thicker curtains. On this side I have roller doors for the windows, those roller shutters on the outside, but that side has a roof you can sit under in summer. So actually that is a window that's not covered. So I hope some thick curtains will keep the warmth in. I'm babbling now. I have one more project because I thought I should spend some time on something I can actually show you. And I also filmed that for you yesterday. So I can show you the gauge swatch. This is the Agnes Light from Wiola Designs. I talked about it in the last episode, and I used all the drops North. The brown is drops Flora. They go very well together, and I will put in the video in here for you now, so you can see how I steam blocked it and the difference before and after blocking. So I hope you enjoy that. So I made a colourwork swatch for my cardigan I want to knit for the December. So this is the gauge swatch. It is more a color swatch actually. So I followed the chart, repeated it 3 times to see if the colors would go well together. It is important to do the gauge swatch in a round because with many people the purl side is has a little bit of a different tension than the knit side. So how you do that is you pull the strands behind and then you knit again. What I did the first 3 stitches, I used 2 strands to lock the yarn in, or it will get really loose like on this side. What I will do now is I want to steam this. So I use a regular iron with steam function, and I will hover above the fabric. What I do first, I will cut the threads because I think this will interrupt with how everything will lay flat. If you need to reuse the yarn, of course you should not cut it because this is not usable afterwards. So you cannot unravel the swatch and use the yarn again. That's pretty obvious, I think. It's pretty fun like cutting hair. So yes, all the strands are loose now. Few are gonna fall off, of course. I have some pins here? No, I don't. Well, that's unfortunate, but that's fine. So of course you have to be careful. The steam is very hot. I'm not heating the fabric. I'm just hovering above it. So then carefully. If I had any pins, I will probably pin them here and there, but that's okay. Do a little bit more here on the bottom. Don't press the fabric, just go over it. See if you could pin it down, and then you could dry it like this until it's fully cooled down. I might turn it over and do the back also a little bit. Get all the strands out of the way. So if you use an acrylic yarn, this is not advisable because it will actually melt the yarn and the stretch will be totally lost. So this is definitely something you can do with wool or something, wool, alpaca and nylon, but not a full acrylic yarn. So this totally became different than before. The stitches did even out, it turned nice and it became even more drapier. So this is something I can use as a reference if I like the colors, if I would actually like a cardigan fully in these colors. So yeah, I will lay this somewhere so I can look at it and see if there's anything I need to change color wise. And if I decide this is going to be it, I will definitely measure the gauge and then not use the 3 edge stitches because those are double stranded on both sides, so I definitely have to stay away from that if I measure my gauge. So that is actually it for today. I did work a little bit on the waffle sweater. I definitely got some centimeters added, and it is a very relaxing pattern. But I really wanted to get the test knit over with so I can do my own thing again because this is not working for me. Not in this time, not in the brain space and the emotional feelings I have at the moment. It seems to just don't go well together. I get very personal, affected by things that should not affect me. But hey, um, yeah, next week I will definitely have finished my test knit and I will go on to my usual knitting, and it should be a relaxing thing and not something that is so frustrating. So I hope you leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'd be happy to look for any answers on the internet. You can always tell me what you're knitting from or knitting on, which patterns you like, and maybe you can tell me where you're from if you're new here. It would be very nice to know where all my knitting friends are. So I hope this episode finds you well, and I hope to see you soon again with another knit and chat. Until next time, I hope you have a lot of knitting time. Enjoy it, and see you next time. Best wishes from me. Bye bye.